Hi, welcome to the fourth vlog for Becca's BookoplAthon, my second weekend reading vlog. It's Friday. I'm about to go into a meeting in like half an hour, but I'm going to start editing the last vlog. I am 10% into A Peculiar Peril by Jeff Vandermeer, which is my audiobook. I'm going to keep working on that today. I am also halfway through Clariel and Things Just Turn Brutal, so that's great. I'm going to read a little bit more of this morning before I get like stuck into work, and then I'll keep going on it tonight. I'm hoping to finish it today, and I'm enjoying this. And then I did my next dice roll. Here it is.
Alrighty, it is day 12. We are rolling for a physical read. Yeah. Let's see what we get. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dark cover. Well, I know exactly what I'm going to pick for this because I've been desperate to read this.
So again, no doubles. Don't know how this is happening, but we rolled and landed on a dark cover. And I said, of course, I know exactly what I'm reading for this. And I've already taken the dust jacket off, but you get me. This is Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. It's the sequel to Gideon the Ninth. It's all like dark blues on the cover, and greys and blacks. So I don't know how the plot of this one in particular, but the series follows, it's like a sci-fi fantasy. We follow Gideon and Harrow. Harrow's a necromancer and Gideon is her like guard. And yeah, it is very nonsensical to a degree. It's like high science but in a fantasy setting, and it's complicated. There's a lot of rules, but the characters don't really know the rules, if that makes sense. So you don't really know the rules. And it's definitely the kind of series that isn't for everyone, but I really enjoyed Gideon the Ninth, so I'm very excited to read Harrow. It's the perfect kind of weird for me, and yeah, I'm so hyped for it. I'm so excited to read it. I've been desperately trying to get this on, like hoping for a role that I could pick this for, basically the whole TBR, so we're real excited. Alright, it is 8:30. I'm still like 100 pages from the end of Clariel, but I'm about to sit down and like really get into that now. Just finished dinner. Oh, my phone's still over there. I am 25% of the way into A Peculiar Peril. I'm still not sure if I understand what's going on, but I'm starting to understand a little bit more. There's another world called Aurora, and I think it's like an alternate world that's got some similarities to ours. We have a main character who basically has been sent on a mission, kind of like given a letter of like, as his grandfather died, I think, like some vague instructions. And then there's also some famous figures that I think some of them are from the real world, some of them are from Aurora, but like the Aurora versions. So we have like John Dee, Napoleon's severed head. Who else do we have? Like Crawley. I can't remember Crawley's, like that's in like Supernatural and stuff, Crawley. And I think they're trying to take over Aurora. Like Crawley is from the real world trying to take over Aurora, but it's like Napoleon's version of Aurora. Aurora's version of Napoleon, and so on and so forth, I think. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but it's a fun ride. I'm enjoying it. And there's still obviously heaps to go. For now, I'm going to finish Clariel and hopefully start Harrow the 9th because I'm so excited for it. But we've got to finish Clariel first. I think when I was talking to you last about Clariel, I was like, oh, this really just needed to pick up, and then it did. It picked up for like a whole couple of chapters. This is a relatively slow paced series, but I feel like this one is particularly slow paced. And I still don't feel like I understand what our endgame goal is. I thought it was a villain origin story, but I also feel like it's not doing enough, and we only have 100, like less than 100 pages left. So, like we're now like 80 pages left. So, I don't know, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm nearly done. I do enjoy this series. I enjoy the writing, but this one has definitely been slow compared to a lot of things I've been reading lately. Though at least I know that Harrow is the opposite of slow. Even if you're confused, the pages just kind of fly by. So I am very excited to be reading Harrow. I really need to wash my hair. So I just finished reading Clariel. I know even this 4 stars. It is kind of a villain origin story, like I was saying, and then I wasn't sure, and then yeah, it is. But not so dark as it could be. It's a bit more like external forces, an inkling of hope, but really there is no hope because we know where she ends up. But yeah, so did I even really talk about what this is about? The Old Kingdom Chronicles is about this world where the Old Kingdom, where there's charter magic and free magic, and charter magic is like written spells using like sigils kind of thing, and I think charter marks, they call them marks, and you like draw them and you can put lots of them together to make big complex spells that can kind of do whatever you want them to do. But it's very rule based, you know what I mean, like with the markings. And then there's free magic, which is just like pure power, but it's the antithesis to life and charter magic. And so free magic creatures are often very bloodthirsty, vicious, death and destruction, you know what I mean? And they are bound by charter mages to stop things from going on. And then we followed, like, there's the royal family that I think it's like the 6 pillars of the charter. There's a wall, stones, the king, like royalty, the royal line, the Clare, which are a group of prophets, and the Aborson. And the Aborson's kind of like death, like a Grim Reaper kind of figure, but is an actual man who wields a bandolier of bells, and the bells have different powers to move the dead into and out of our, like, the realm, and into, like, there's like 9 levels of hell. It's not hell, it's of the dead, like 9 gates of the dead or something. And so it's his kind of job to make sure dead people stay dead, I guess. And he also helps, like, it's not always a he, but the Aborson always helps to contain free magic and things. And so he's kind of like a necromancer, but like in a like holy order kind of way, like he's ordained to do that kind of thing. Whereas there are also free magic necromancers that raise the dead. So the Aborson kind of goes around dealing with that kind of thing. And so there's things going on with the Aborson in the original trilogy. We're following a girl who's Sabriel, whose father is the Aborson. She's the Aborson in waiting, which is like the apprentice, but it's always along the bloodline. This one's set 600 years before the birth of Sabriel, and is following Clariel, who then becomes a character in the original series who is a free magic necromancer, essentially. But this is kind of like her origin story. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was very slow until the end where everything happened really fast. But that's kind of true of this whole series. Things happen pretty slow. And even to the point where I remember struggling because book 2 and 3 book 2 ends up on a cliffhanger and it kind of feels like the middle of a storyline. Like book 2 and 3 are one arc. So book 2 was really difficult for me because it was really slow, but I didn't feel like it culminated in anything because all of that was in book 3. So yeah, that is really much the style of this series, but now I only have one left, which is Golden Hand, which is set after the original trilogy. This was obviously a prequel, so I'm very excited to get to that and then be able to like tick this right off. It's all done. So I'm pretty sure there's no others as currently available. So Clariel, done. And we're gonna settle in and get comfy again and read some Harrow because it's only 10 o'clock. We can read for like another hour. Okay, I've just read 50 pages of Harrow, and I'm about to go to sleep, but I have some thoughts. I forgot how much, I read Gideon kind of when it came out, so if you haven't been following me for that long, you might not know, but I remember when I was reading Gideon, I was like, oh, some people aren't going to like this because they're not going to understand enough of the magic, which is very much rooted in science, and particularly in like not even just medicine but bones, and conveniently that's just happens to be my like real life specialty. So this is like the perfect science magic system for me. The necromancy is all based in bones. It talks about bones and other medical stuff, but mainly bones, in a very technical way. Like it uses technical terminology. So if you don't know that the cap on the end of your hip is called the acetabellum, that's going to mean nothing to you, you know what I mean? But they talk about the acetabellum and like, yeah. So it's very, like, I live for it because I know what they're talking about, but most people are just going to have to go blindly through a lot of that, or with a heavy-handed Google. So I can definitely get why, like, it's the perfect magic science system for me, but just for me, not just for me, but like, you know, when like something's just, you can tell that you have a skill for it that other people don't have. I just happen to know a lot about bones, both as like my career and, you know. So I love it in that regard. And that's carried through here as in Gideon. What is interesting here is now that we're from Harrow's perspective, some things have changed. We knew Harrow was fucked up in the first book, but how fucked up? And honestly, I'm not even sure. This could be a different timeline, but I feel like that's going to come into play more later, but I don't know how yet, and I am so curious. It's like set almost directly after the first book, but there are some implications happening that we're very in the dark because we are close perspective for Harrow, and that was true in the first book. We were close perspective Gideon, so a lot of the confusion throughout, and I absolutely remember vlogging about this, is that if Gideon doesn't know something, you don't know it. And Gideon was not a specialist on the magic, which meant that she could ask questions and you could learn more, so that was good. But she would only get told so much that anyone was willing to tell her, and it was very like masterfully done that you just didn't get enough to know more than you needed to at any moment. So you were constantly looking for more information, and it was always just like at the tips of your fingers of how everything was working. Now that we're in Harrow's perspective, there are a lot of things that we didn't even know were happening in the first one that are now happening here, but also there are things that have changed, major things that have changed, that because we're close in Harrow's head, we don't have that omniscient presence of why things have changed. And I like it, but it means that, and this is something I'm good at, which I know some people don't like, is just going with the flow and seeing where the story goes. Like, I know a lot of people really struggle with things being too confusing, especially magic systems and world building. If they don't understand it early, they struggle, and I personally don't care. I'm like, hit me up, do whatever you want. Like, but I'm not a particularly visual reader, really. I have to work hard to make pictures in my head. Not that I can't, I just have to work hard for it. So that means that, like, I often don't, and I don't need to enjoy a story. So I don't need, like, really lush descriptions to build it in my head. I'm happy to just, like, roll with it. And that was very true of the first one, that you just had to roll with it and things would play out and it would make sense by the time you got to the end. And I think that's going to be true of this, so I'm just rolling with it. But I have so many questions. What is this? Yeah, I need to wash my hair. I feel like I'm a Teletubby. Dinky winky. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and continue working on this tomorrow. I want to try and get most of the way through it tomorrow. I don't know if I could actually finish it, but I could maybe. But I'm going to try and get as far as I can. But I'm already really enjoying it. I love the weird writing style, the weirdly specific bone references. Like, that just speaks to my heart. And yeah, I know that can't be for everyone. Like, clearly not. But for me, it is the good shit. I just showered, if you can't tell. It is Saturday afternoon, almost 3 o'clock. I spent the morning and the early afternoon reading Harrow. I'm now about a third of the way through, just short of 200 pages. I'm really enjoying it. It is freaking confusing as predicted, but mainly because it's taken a side from book one. So all the things that you thought you understood in book one, but I am really enjoying it. I do just love the I love everything about it, let's be real. But I think I said this last night, I can totally understand why people wouldn't. It is very specific, and I like it for very specific reasons. But yeah, I'm hopeful. If I get fully absorbed, I might finish this tonight, but I think I'm going to be finishing it tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm really enjoying it. Currently, as of like 2 o'clock, I think, Zoe from Zoe's All Booked is running the 24-hour mini internal BookoplAthon. And I can't really participate that dramatically. I mean, I haven't. I jumped in the shower like right at the start time. But I'm going to try and use it as best I can to motivate myself to read. But I do have work during all of that, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to, yeah, work on this. And well, first I'm gonna actually, what I'm doing right now, I meant to say, I'm gonna pivot to my audiobook for a bit. I've got to do some housework, and then once I've done that, I will come back and knuckle down on, oh my god, the background is not that interesting, knuckle down on reading Harrow, because I'm really loving it. So I'm also have a package that's meant to be arriving today. Yesterday I got my copy of Drowned Country. I don't think I showed you, but that's the sequel to Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. Oh, did I even say I did my roll this morning with April and Paige on FaceTime, and I ended up rolling, here it is.
Okay, we are rolling for roll 15. We're doing a physical roll today. Oh, no, I'm doing this with the wrong hand. This is a lucky. And we got a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Disability rep. I think I know what I'm going to pick for this already.
We got disability rep, and so for that I decided to pick out The Never Tilting World by Rinch Paco. I believe one of the main characters in this is missing a limb. I saw it on a book list of books with disability and queer representation. And yeah, I have a feeling one of the characters here doesn't have an arm. Maybe? I don't know too much about this book, other than that it is A, gorgeous, B, there's something about the world no longer tilts on its axis, so one half is perpetually in day and one half is perpetually in night, and that comes with a lot of problems for both sides. I'm really interested to read this. It says on the back, a demoness is what they call a goddess that men cannot control. Love that. And I know it's just a duology and the second one is due out really soon, so if I enjoy it I will pre-order the Ever Cruel Kingdom, which I think is what the second one is called. So yeah, it's either just come out or is about to come out, but yeah, I'm excited to try this one. Okay, I cleaned some dishes. I did some housework. Then I got distracted with YouTube. I was just saying to Jessie, Sola from Bon Appetit, if you were following the whole Bon Appetit test kitchen scandals, Sola got picked up by the New York Times cooking. What a power move. We love Sola. Beautiful. So I was just watching one of her videos and now I really want to eat fried chicken. It's made me hungry. I don't have fried chicken. I'm trying to convince the rest of the family to let us have fried chicken for dinner. Not that I'm going to cook it, but that we could buy it. But I'm going to go try and figure out a snack. I ended up eating toast and a cup of soup because that's the mood we're in. And now I'm back to reading. Trixie is curled in my lap. Bobby. And I'm out of focus. But yeah, I don't even have anything to say. Like, I'm enjoying this, but I'm so confused, and that's normal for this series. Like, you find out things as you go, but you start very confused. But I'm enjoying the ride. And we've already said that, so like, why am I going on? Oh, I also got my copy of A Light's Away arrived, and I'm so excited to read it that I'm gonna have to try and fit this in sometime over the next couple of weeks before the end of the month, because it is stunning. Okay, it's Sunday. I was at work this morning, so I've only just, like, I'm still in my pajamas. Yes, I live work in my pajamas. It's fine. I was there all night. Nobody judges me. It was just me and my boss. It's fine. So I'm just finishing a coffee. This is, if you ever wondered, this is my boyfriend and my other partner. She got Jessie this mug. It's a Bitmoji mug. And I am using it because it was the one that was clean. I love it. And I did my roll for today. Here it is.
Okay, and today we are rolling for rolls 17. Oh, Trixie, what are you doing? Again, we're going to do a physical read, and I think we'll do an audiobook tomorrow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And a 7, which is young adult. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So I was tossing up between a couple of things thinking for young adult. I really want to read Star Daughter. I really want to read Alatsue. But I ended up settling on Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles. This is it's described as Moulin Rouge meets, I can't remember what it was meant to be. But this is giving me like similar to Ace of Shades kind of vibes, where it's really lush, but it's set more like in a show, circus kind of thing. So it says, in a city covered in ice and ruin, a group of magicians face off in a daring game of magical feats to find the next headliner of the conquering circus. Oh, that's right, it would have been Moulin Rouge meets the night circus, I think. Fame and glory await the winner, but no contestant is safe when an unseen danger begins striking behind the scenes. And there's a love triangle of some sort. I think it's also queer. It's going to be a duology. It's a debut. There's the star, Kalia, a powerful showgirl out to prove she's the best no matter the cost. The master, Jack, the enigmatic keeper of the club and more than one lie told. The magician, DeMarco, the brooding judge haunted by a past he can no longer hide. I don't know, I've been super fascinated by this. I've always been fascinated by the synopsis, and everyone's been giving it rave reviews. So I'm really keen to read it. And I'm hopeful I will freaking love it. Why are Wednesday Books hardcovers so tall? Like, really? But yeah, I think I'm gonna really like this. I know the author is Filipino American, I think. Yes. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just very excited. Like, I've been hyped about it for a long time, so I'm very excited to finally have it in my hands. It is a haul for this month as well, and I'm very excited to be reading it, like, ASAP. But still, more importantly, I'm still over halfway now through Harrow. I have about 200 pages left. Hopefully I start work again in like 4.5 hours. So I'm hopeful to try and get through these 200 pages in that time. And then I can start in after work on, like tonight, on the Never Tilting World. That's the plan. And then hopefully this won't take me too long, and then I can be reading this. Yeah. That's our current TBR stack. And then I'm listening still to A Peculiar Peril. It's really long, so I'm not surprised it's taking me a while. I am like 30 something the way through. Let me look. I'm like almost 200 pages in, but it's like 650 pages. So it's gonna take me a while, but that's fine. Yeah, so I'm 29% of the way through. If I have to do any housework today, which I probably do, I probably have to do dishes and stuff, I'll read a little bit of it then, but I will be really kicking into it tomorrow when I get back to work. That's where I read most of my audiobooks. I don't read much on the weekends, audiobook wise, but I get more physical reading done, so you know, it's a balance. Alright, so it is Sunday night. What time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock. Just been doing sprints for the Becca's BookoplAthon. Becca's doing a style of sprints where she rolls the dice to determine how long the sprint goes for, and if you roll doubles you have to switch reads. Love that idea. I think I'm going to, because I can't actually stay awake for much of the actual sprints tonight, because they started at 9 and will go till 9 AM, but I have to sleep in that time. So I won't get to do that much of it, but I'm going to like do it similar style in my own time, I think, because I really like the idea. But I just finished, during that first sprint session, which was for an hour, I just finished Harrow the Knife. It did take me a little bit longer in the day than I anticipated, but I kind of got a bit distracted in the afternoon. I ended up giving this 5 stars. I do really love this series, but for like very specific to me reasons. This is like, for me it's personally a 5 stars, but I wouldn't recommend it particularly broadly. And I don't think most people will absolutely love it the way I absolutely love it, but it is a 5-star read for me. It is so bizarre and so weird, and you've got to just roll with it, but I love the character dynamics. I love the weird twisty world, and I just am so confused but so fascinated for book 3, which is the final book in the series. So yeah, I don't recommend this to most people, but I personally love it. And if you like super weird stuff, if you have a decent understanding of anatomy, if you're someone who learnt to read really young and don't mind not knowing what a word necessarily means, but just understanding its application in the sentence by context, which is something I do a lot. Like, I see new words and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I just garner what it means from the context around it. That's what I've always done since I was little, learning to read. So not knowing words doesn't bother me, but this uses a lot of pretentious language, especially related to anatomy and science. So if you don't know technical words, and it almost like invents words using technical terminology and uses them in new ways. So if you're either not familiar with medical terms, or especially anatomy, or you could make it work by understanding the context of the sentence, but otherwise it would take a lot of heavy Googling. And I know that's something that would bother people. But I have a background in anatomy, especially bones, which is probably the biggest focus of the necromancy as it is experienced through Harrow. She's a bone necromancer. I know my bones. But also I know random anatomy facts. So this like worked perfectly for me. And I love it. And it's 5 stars. But do I recommend it to most people? No. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to start for the night, when the next round of sprints starts, is The Never Tilting World by Rinch Paco. I'm not sure what I'm going to think of this, but it should go by a little faster than Harrow, because it's, I think, a similar number, or a little less pages, but way less text to a page, so I should be able to fly through it a little faster. But yeah, I'm excited. Alright, I wanted to do a little checking because I'm 2 chapters in to The Never Tilting World, and I know a bit more about like the idea and also the representation. So I picked this for disability rep because I'd heard there was a character with missing a limb, and we do follow 4 main characters. This world has essentially stopped rotating on its axis, and there were twin goddesses, but something happened and they've now split, and one lives on the dark side, one lives on the light side that's constantly day, one lives on the side that's constantly at night. And I don't know if the 2 mothers, who were the original ones that split, know the other one's still alive, but they both, the cities kind of think the other one is dead, kind of thing. We're following the 2 daughters, because it's always twin goddesses every generation, and we follow the 2 daughters who are also split, but trying to like fix the world because they don't know really what caused it. They think it was the other one's family, kind of thing, the other one's mum. And we also follow, so we follow the 2 of them. So that's Odessa, And Odessa has a chronic illness that's akin to fatigue. And then her guardian, I guess, is Tianlin. And they are non-binary, which its own voices for the non-binary representation. And Rinchpego is also Filipino. And all of these characters are, I would argue, non-white, but it's not specifically anything. Obviously, it's fantasy, but they're all non-white. So Tianlan is Odessa's guardian of a sort, but a similar age. And they're a healer. And they are attempting to heal this chronic illness that Odessa has. But it's kind of unhealable. They can bring it down, but it's going to reoccur each day, kind of thing. Tianlin has PTSD because they saw a bunch of their comrades die in a war zone, and so they've been placed as Odessa's protector, guardian, healer to recover away from the war zone. So they've got PTSD. So there's PTSD, chronic illness, and then on the other side of the planet we have Heidi, who's the goddess. I don't know much about her yet. And then Arjun is a boy from a village, and at least in the scene we had from Arjun's perspective, he was trying to kill Heidi because they think she's evil. And Arjun is the one missing an arm. Yeah, so there's like physical, visible disability representation, invisible disability from Odessa's perspective, chronic illness, invisible chronic illness, and then mental illness from Tianlan's PTSD. So it's got the whole gamut. So really this was a great pick for disability rep. But also, yeah, most if not all the characters are non-white, and Tianlan is non-binary. I think AFAB non-binary because everyone keeps insisting on calling them lady, ma'am, miss, and they're like, not a lady. And I don't know whether you would then call, like, I'm pretty sure it's a romance between both pairs, but I don't know then if they're non-binary, would you call their relationship with their inevitable relationship with Odessa sapphic? I don't know the nuance in that situation. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody, if you know the answer to that question, please let me know. And yeah, that's where we're at. So I think the whole end goal is to try and fix this world and get it rotating again. But the sisters don't know about each other. Well, they do, but they think the other one's dead. So yeah, I'm fascinated so far. And I like that we're switching between all 4 points of view. I'm really interested to see how things play out. It's very fascinating so far. And I'm only 2 chapters in. Okay, it's technically 11:30, so there's still nearly half an hour left of the current sprint, but I'm getting really sleepy. And I just got to the end of a long chapter. So I think I'm going to put the book down for now and go to sleep. I just got to page, I think it was 76 of The Never Tilting World. So that's like not a whole lot into it, but I am definitely feeling the sleep vibes. I just sleep, so I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna set my alarm for 7:30 and see how I go getting up in the morning, and I might join in on the last like hour of the sprints in the morning, but otherwise I'm gonna chill out and go to bed. And definitely I think I'll do something similar to these sprints, just funsies on my own during the week. If you didn't see what was happening with the sprints, essentially Becca would roll the dice, and she rolled 2, and every dot would count for 10 minutes of sprinting. So the first round she rolled a 5 and a 1, so 60 minutes of sprinting. This last one was double 5s, so 100 minutes of sprinting. Which is why there's still half an hour left. But every time there's a doubles, you have to change books. So conveniently, I just finished one book and was about to start another one, so I didn't really have to like change. But it could throw a spanner in the works if you try to get something finished. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to do something like that, but maybe a little bit shorter time frame, like every dot on the die counts for 5 minutes, just so I'm not dealing with quite as long a time frame, so I never quite have such long chunks of uninterrupted reading time. But yeah, I think I'm going to do something similar during the week to encourage me to sprint. So I really like the idea. I think it's really fun. But for now, I'm going to go to bed. Good night.